Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back to the show. Gervonna Ragland here joining us now. We're so excited to have our professional organizer back with us. And the name of our company is Duly Organized. Excited to have her back. And don't forget, that's dulyorganized.com. Welcome back today. How are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Physically not. So from all the cleaning and stuff I did downstairs in the basement May 7th, I have two double hernias in my intestine groin area. So that I went Monday to the doctor. I need surgery for that. And then I just had the cortisone shot for the carpal tunnel. I have nerve tests. I have tendonitis. I am a person who cleans and organizes. You would never know by the look of my upstairs in my house, which we'll talk about in a sec. But I'm that kitchen, that grout. I have OCD, and it leaves me though some areas that I can't focus on. So I'm. People say, "Are you okay?" I can't lie. I'm really not okay. I don't feel well, but I'm okay. Overall, okay. I still have a happy, positive mindset. I think that's important.
That's important. That'll help with healing. And I'm so sorry that you're experiencing those things.
Well, I moved dishwasher, oven,
No,
refrigerator,
no,
all by myself and was cleaning
no.
last month. Yeah.
No. See, that's when we have to learn when to call in the professional. And that means get that big guy to come in and move it, lift things up and put things down, like the commercial says. Yeah, no, that's not good.
No,
That's not good, and I'm so sorry.
that's okay.
Well, I hope you're resting when you can. I hope you're resting.
Sports every night. Not really. Trying my best, but my body's telling me something. It's enough. I have to start worrying about me. And yes,
And
and
you
the
have
other little
to.
things can wait. You as an organizer, you're dealing with so many different types of people. Ironically, I watched an episode on Netflix called Made last night. I was started
Okay.
watching it, and there's an episode where like she's a cleaning lady and she gets a call from like a hoarder, and she comes to the house and there's bins. And now it's so sad because she got three kids, two twins on the way. She can't really walk in her house. I see stuff like that. It makes me feel better. Okay. Because I have my own hoarding issues and my own problems. Like we all have organizational problems. Really. I feel like I'm not alone. I'm not that bad, but I feel like it could get that bad.
You're not alone. Believe me when I tell you you are not alone. And going back to what you showed me last week, that to me is total normal life and living.
Yeah, I showed her a video. I sent her personally a video of my upstairs hallway into the spare guest room, which you can't even see the bed. But honestly, it's consumed with my children's paperwork from school that I just don't. I should make time earlier and get rid of it. I don't. I hoard it. I keep it because what if I need it? And I'll go through it eventually, and then eventually it never comes. My own clothes. When my mother passed away, her big hefty garbage bags of her clothes are in there. There's bins of pictures over the years. There's bins of you can't even walk to the closet, and in that closet it's mostly storage stuff, but there's just stuff everywhere, stuff left over from the holidays. It's to me it's overwhelming to me, and I showed her, and in all honesty she says that's kind of normal that people do have issues like this. So makes me feel better I'm not alone. And so you come in and you could tackle a project like that, someone who's disarrayed and organized. But when the
Mhm.
person's so attached to that emotional stuff, how do I say, well, Giovanna, well, how do my son's kindergarten, like, would you sit there and show everything to me? Or how does that work?
For everybody, it's different. And for you, if I have to walk you through each and every piece of paper and let you touch it and come to grips with what needs to be done with it, if that's what helps you let it go, then that's what we need to do. So each individual is different. I had one client who everything in her closet we were going through, she had to tell me the story about every piece of clothing. She would hold it up to herself, but that was the only way that she could go through the process of letting it go. So each person is different. But the cool thing now is in the digital age, there are so many options that we have for keeping those little, paper keepsakes that our kids make in school, or even the, important papers. We can scan them, we can put them in the cloud. I have to find, there's this one really cool app that was actually designed by an organizer, and I can't remember what it's called, but she actually made it for people who have children with their school projects, their report cards and things like that, where you can store them online and keep those things that are important to you without them being in your physical space. You could pull up the picture, you could go online, you could look at it, it's still there, but it's just not taking up space in your physical space where you actually need the room and you need to optimize and move and live.
And
Um,
to grow.
yeah. And I'll find it. And if I find it, I'll send it to you. Maybe it's something that you can actually use to help
Thank
you
you.
kind of with those things. Yeah. So, but that's, that's how it is sometimes. And we all have those issues, even me with certain things. I am attached to certain things and I'm like, okay, I gotta let it go. But it's everyday life. I mean, we're in and out, we're running, we're constantly doing something. We have been conditioned that multitasking is the way to get things done. But when you multitask in your space, when you're trying to organize things, we don't finish. We don't go from A to Z. We go from A to C, maybe D. Then we move on to the next thing and we forget to go back and finish the things that we started. So that's why I say in a lot of homes, I see that because that's what's going on. They're busy. We start something, oh, I'm going to declutter this and then I'm going to go and declutter that. And it's like, declutter this, get your systems in order, finish it from A to Z, then go on to declutter and do the next part.
Guilty. I never do that. I go from one spot to the next, and then I have like 5 piles. And then guess what? None of them get done. Looks a
Mm-hmm.
little better, but then it just gets worse. It's like an attention deficit problem because part of me doesn't want to be doing this pile because, oh, wait, this pile might be more exciting or this pile might be more, or I'm making excuses because I don't want to part with stuff in that pile. It's,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm,
Yeah. And that's why it's like we have been so conditioned with multitasking that we have to train ourselves to stop. Because
mm-hmm.
even if we make our little piles, that's great. But if we don't get to the point where we put our systems in place and put those things where they belong and start finding them homes, we are always going to have those little piles and those little things around that just don't ever seem to go away.
Yes. Interesting. So besides piles, what other types of organizational skills do we use? Explain.
Oh, goodness gracious. Um, well, piles is like, I think one of the greatest tools because piles, you're actually creating your categories, right? You declutter and then you create your categories of your stuff. Now, the next thing is you got to get that pile off the floor, off the desk, off the counter, off the couch, wherever it is, and start putting it in the system that it belongs. Um, People don't realize they're like, oh, I want a system. Well, a system is actually having a home for these things and having a place for them to go. It doesn't necessarily have to be a bin or a basket or whatever. It could be a dresser drawer. That's the system that you use to now corral that thing in because now that thing has a home. If it doesn't have a home, even though you have these great categories, it's going to stay on the floor. It's going to stay on the bed. It's going to stay on the couch because we haven't created a place for it to go. And that's how, at the end of the day, how we get rid of those little piles. We need to start then creating where they need to go and then getting them there.
All right. Well, thank you. What other tips and info do you have for us? And by the way, you're based out of where specifically?
Bloomfield, New Jersey.
Perfect. Some in-person hands-on through the tri-state area, I would say, right? But
Yes,
virtually, tell me about the work you could do virtually.
virtually, it's more coaching an individual, giving them homework, understanding what they want to accomplish with their project. They have a measure of get it doneness in them. They just don't maybe not know where to start. They may not know and understand the process of organization. So helping them to understand that, explaining it to them, walking them through it, helping them design plans for their spaces and giving them just tasks to do little by little to get them through their project. And if they feel overwhelmed, they can reach out and say, listen, today was just not a good day. And
Yeah.
I can't get through this and just helping coach them through their project.
Oh, got it. All right. And any projects you tackled recently that you want to share?
Oh goodness gracious. I I don't know if I told you about this one. I did a design studio for a young designer. Took her garden shed. She had a garden building, and I created and turned that into like storage slash design studio for her. It was one of the biggest projects I've done, a lot of fun, um, a lot of leeway with creativity. Um, and I enjoyed doing it. I like that one.
Mhm.
I just finished it a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I would love to see pictures.
Oh, we're getting there. I gotta find them all
Awesome.
and get them posted. But I'm actually working on
That's
that.
a whole nother issue. Organizational skills with our virtual stuff. Our
That
f
is one, that's one where I struggle a little bit with virtual, especially because I'm always taking pictures and videos and things like that. And I don't always stop to group them. Okay, this is this
Group
project or
them,
that
back them
project.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. So I am actually working on that right now, being more diligent when I have projects and making sure that they are categorized, all put together so that when I need to do slideshows and video editing, it makes it that much easier. I don't have to go scrolling and searching through my phone for all the stuff for a particular project. So
Mhm.
I am flawed.
Oh, I love it. Duly organized. You sure are, for sure. Hmm. Struggle.
um, Go ahead.
So personally, you say you have struggles, but I'm just picturing your house is probably super like organized. No? Where do you struggle? Is it the papers? Is it I forgot.
Yeah, the phone, I struggle digitally.
And
Paperwork, um, paperwork takes me a little bit longer than most things in my house because I'm always like, well, will I need this later? I'm like, can I get it digitally? And then I toss it. But I do struggle with papers a little bit, but eventually I let them go.
got it. Yeah.
uh, Especially just, what I'm doing is like I need a paper for something. I need a receipt. So do I need to keep this? Do I not need to keep this? So I struggle with paper just a little bit, but at the end of the day, somehow, some way, it all ends up in the shredder.
Yeah. I don't have a shredder because me, it's going to take up too much room. I just throw everything in the garbage.
Mm. Well, that's not a terrible thing as long as it's not personal information.
Hmm.
If it's your personal information, I would highly recommend that you not make it easy for people to get your information. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, they can go online and find just about anything, but you don't want that one person to find that random piece of information
Yeah.
because you threw it in the trash and now we can have it on your life. My husband he's an IT person, so that's always this thing about protecting your identity and all this stuff. So we shred everything. We throw nothing whole in the garbage. No paper goes whole in the garbage.
Yeah.
Um, just like he always says, don't make it easy for them. And that's another thing too. When I'm working with clients, I recommend that they invest in the shredder. They're not expensive. Not all of them are big and bulky. You can find they have even tabletop shredders that you can use. Get that junk mail that has your name, those credit card offers. If you're still getting those, drop them in that, and as soon as they come
That
in,
and
let
like
it
the penny
go.
saver. I get 2 penny savers a week and I'm tempted to keep it just in case I need some for home improvement. Just because I need, then I have a whole stack of them. Do I really need every penny saver? No.
No. And most of your penny savers you can find online.
True.
If it's a major, if it's a major store, like a major retailer, you can find their things online. So as much as you can, get that stuff out. Get it
Mm,
out.
that's so funny. Mm.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. What else? So, if someone out there listening today, maybe a lot of us similarly not in the same boat. Like, you come back for multiple days. Like, are you working on projects sometimes for days? You doing whole houses? You're doing,
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'm doing whole houses and it could be a couple weeks. This one with the garden home, due to certain circumstances, it was actually a few months that I was working on that project. Um, it all varies depending on the person's availability, the availability of items to be able to get them in their homes. So it could take, some projects can take a few months. I have one that's currently ongoing now that I've been doing for probably a month now. And that's a whole house. It's a move-in. Someone moved in and it's getting their house set up, getting them organized. And it's just little things that as they move in, they realize they want and they need. And so it's,
Like, tell me specifically, like, are you unpacking boxes? Or are you putting like what?
Unpacking boxes, setting up the kitchen, unpacking boxes and setting up their walk-in closets. Right now, I'm actually, just reminded me, I'm actually getting ready to design their linen closet because their linen closet, for whatever reason, has no shelves in it. So now
That happened to me when I moved to my house. My first time as a home buyer 7 years ago. I had no idea. I should have looked at there was not one pantry. There was not, every closet in the house was empty. No shelving. No, I'm like, what? If that's something I would have noticed, my friend said, oh, you should have told, like, that could have been adjusted on the price. Like, how could you not have any racks, like basic racks, anything? So it's something I missed out on. And then I had to call someone from Home Depot and I got the closets done, but the pantry, there was nothing in it. How am I ever going to stack my food?
you're not.
Mhm.
That's the problem. You're not. And so it's stuff like that that I've been doing in this one home, and it's been a lot of fun. I like projects, I can go both ends of the spectrum. I like projects where the homeowner is really involved and really helpful in getting things done. And then I also like the ones where I'm kind of free to kind of create in their homes. Things that, because they'll ask, well, what do you think? I'm like, well, I'm not an interior designer, but I think this may be helpful for you. Like in their bathroom, there was in certain cabinets, there was no shelves. So putting in pullouts so that they can access the things that they need, putting those together, putting those in. So it was just a lot of fun because it gave me an opportunity to use some of the other skills that I have.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. All right. Well, how do we contact you or reach out to you?
You can reach me via telephone at 862-621-9231. You can reach me via my website at dulyorganized.com. And you can also follow me on Instagram, instagram.com/dulyorganized.
Perfect. And wait, what is it on Instagram? Say it again.
Duly organized.
Duly organized. Just perfectly duly organized. No underscore, no nothing.
Nope.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Gervonna. Pleasure having you back as always. And keep in touch. And yeah, please feel free to bring some pictures on board and share. I would love to see some of the work you're doing and maybe some before and afters because my goodness, like, yeah, I could imagine.
I would love to share them. I would just have to figure out how.
Perfect. It's on the screen. Well, I'm following you now on Instagram. I just got you. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you again for everything.
Right.
I appreciate it. Have a great
All
day.
Right.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.